जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिकराचार्य अष्टोरशत श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिकराचार्य अष्टोरशत श्रीमती भक्ति सिद्धांत गोस्वामी महाराज की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से को श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasa Tato Jayamudiraye. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God and Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, and unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of fortune, of learning, and unto Srila Vyasdev, the author. Nas prayesu abhadresu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavate uttam shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki. By regular attendance in class on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and love in service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3. I cannot see the text, Prabhu. Thank you. So Canto 3, Chapter 3, text number 6, the Lord's pastimes out of Vrindavan. Sutam Mride Kam Vapusa Grasantam Dristva Sunaba Unmatitam Daritriya Atmantrita Tat Tanayaya Sesham Datva Tat Antapuram Avivesa Sutamride Kamvapu Sagrasantam Dristva Sunobomatitam Daritriya Amantrita Statanaya Yasesam Datva vad antapuram avivesa Sutamride kamapu sagrasanta Dristva sunabano matatitam daritriya Atma trita statanaya sesam Datva ta antapuram avivesa Sutamride kamvapu sagrasantam Dristva sunabano matatitam daritriya Amantrita statanayat sesam Datva ta antapuram avivesa. Ramrude kama pusakra santam. Asamo. Sesham. Sutam ridekam sasakra santam. Susvasuna bom matateam daritriya. Sesham. Sutam ridekam. Testvasu. Mantritas tatanaya yashesham. Gatva tarantam. Mataji's. Sutam ridekam. Nidekama pusaka santam. Uditam daritriyam. Atmantitas tatanaya yashesham. Word to word meaning. Sutam, sun, mride, in the fight. Kam, the sky. Vapusa, by his body. Grasantam, while devouring. Dristva, seen. Sunaba, by the Sudarshan wheel. Unmatitam, killed. The Ritriya, by the earth. Amantrita, been prayed for. Tat Tanayaya, to the son of Narakasura. Sesham, that which was taken from. Datva, returning it. Tat, his. Antapuram, inside the house. Avivesa, entered. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Narakasur, the son of the Ritri, the earth, tried to grasp the whole sky, and for this he was killed by the Lord in a fight. His mother then prayed to the Lord. This led to the return of the kingdom of the son of Narakasura, and thus the Lord entered the house of the demon. Purport. It is said in other Puranas that Narakasur was the son of Daritri, the earth, by the Lord himself. But he became a demon due to the bad association of Bana, another demon. An atheist is called a demon, and it is a fact that even a person born of good parents can turn into a demon by bad association. Birth is not always the criterion of goodness. Unless and until one is trained in the culture of good association, one cannot become good. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Gopal Krishna Goswami Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pastatata Satarine Om Gyanam Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So before I start speaking today, I will seek the blessings of all the senior Prabhupada disciples present here in order to be able to speak something for the benefit of all of us, including myself, and for the glorification of Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Krishna Swadamo Pagate Dharma Gyanadipi Saha Kalau Nashta Drisham Esa Puranarko Adono Dida. This Bhagavad Puran is as brilliant as the sun, and thus just a reason after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc., persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in this age of Kali shall get light from this Bhagavad Purana. So today's purport is small. However, the importance is being stressed on the association or Sangha. So, as we know in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 15, we have namam dushkrito muda prabhadyante naradama mayaya partha jnana asuram bhavam ashrita. That those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender to me. So Lord Krishna is very clearly saying what is the nature of demons like Narakasura. And so, because their knowledge is stolen by illusion, they do not surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even when the Lord is personally present, to them. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has stressed the importance of association with sadhus. Then the question comes, what is the description of a sadhu? As we can see in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that association is very important with devotees. So, in the teachings of Lord Kapila, in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, a description is being given of sadhus. It says, is to enlighten people in devotional service to the Lord, Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport. That is his mercy. That the mercy of a sadhu is to enlighten people in the process of devotional service. And that he travels door to door preaching to everyone, be Krishna conscious. So this is a description that is given by Srila Prabhupada in the purport to teachings of Lord Kapila, that what is a sadhu. That the sadhu does not care about his own well-being. His dukkha, that's why, we say that para dukkha dukhi is the mood of a sadhu. Para dukkha dukhi. See, Srila Prabhupada is a vivid example of this. He was very well situated in Vrindavan, at the Radha Damodar Mandir. But he was, in his heart, he had this para dukkha dukhi mood because he had these instructions from his guru that he needs to go out. So it was not his own comfort, but this is what a well-wisher does. And when Srila Prabhupada mentions door to door, it is basically because this human form of body, Bhaunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prabhatya Vasudevam Sarvam Iti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha Bhaunam Janmanam Ante. This human form of life is being wasted. We do not know the meaning of this human form of life. This human form of life is meant to be for tapasya, is meant to serve the Lord instead of serving our senses. So, Srila Prabhupada states that what does the association with the sadhu do? Now what is the association? So we have seen some qualification of a sadhu. What does a sadhu do? We have to associate with sadhus. And then what is the importance of association with the sadhu? It says, it cuts to pieces the bonds of illusory affection in the material world. So just like we read in the purport to Namam Dushkritano Muda, that the knowledge is stolen by illusion. So what does a sadhu do? He cuts to pieces the bonds of this illusory affection or maya. And by doing so, what happens is that we are reawakened, our dormant Krishna consciousness is reawakened. And we know that in the material world, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is this beautiful instruction to us that Krishna bahir mukha haye boga vancha kare nikita sta maya tare japti adare. That immediately we forget for a moment Krishna. What happens? Maya captures us. Actually, instructions given by Lord Kapila to Devahuti, and when we are speaking about the child in the womb of the mother, there is very prime instructions that how a child after 7 months, when has developed consciousness, is actually aware of their situation. And that, look at the situation of the child. When the child turns its face on one side, it has the gastric juices from the mother. And when it turns on the other side, it has urine, stool. So it's in a very abominable condition. But in that consciousness, the child is praying and remembering Lord Krishna. That I do not want to be in this position again. But immediately comes out on the into this material world, the child immediately is ensnared by Maya and starts forgetting that position. In fact, Kapila Muni instructs that how is the child being ensnared is by the affection of the parents, by the affections of family, by so many things, the child forgets the original position he or she was in. So, that is what a sadhu does. That the sadhu basically helps us to understand that this is all illusion. And this is a famous verse I like quoting because it is given to us in Sikshastakam prayers in that chapter in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy, lava matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy. That the verdict of all scriptures is that by even a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. Now, we have senior devotees in this room, Srila Prabhupada devotees, who are living examples of how coming in contact with a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada changed their lives. So we have practical examples sitting in this room that what a pure devotee's association can do. Just a moment, not even, for a long time, just what a moment's association of a pure devotee can do. And they gave up the 4 pillars of sin. The 4 offenses that we are not meant to be committing: no illicit sex, no gambling, no meat eating, and no intoxication. These 4 are actually, Srila Prabhupada refers to them as the 4 pillars of sin. And imagine, just by mere contact of a pure devotee of the Lord, including myself, we were able to give up these 4 pillars of sin. And we know that Srila Prabhupada did not compromise. Purity was the force. One of the things, in ISKCON we say purity is the force. He did not compromise. He was being told, Swami, you're wearing a dhoti. He was in New York, very cold, winter climate. Actually, I went to see Srila Prabhupada's, I went to Tompkins Square to see the famous tree. Just in November, Thanksgiving, I was in New York with my family. And it was so cold. I had a jacket, feather jacket. Inside I had another layer of fleece. I had a shirt. I had a beanie, gloves. Believe me, and my wife, I and Radhe were all shivering. It was so cold. And here is Srila Prabhupada in a dhoti. There was no compromise. Srila Prabhupada did not compromise on the principles. So purity is the force. And yet we were able to give the 4 pillars of sin. So this is the potency. This is the magic of a pure devotee. Now we are in this room. How many of us actually listened 100% to our parents? If our parents say do something, we may do it but reluctantly, or we may decide our way. But how many people had the guts to say Srila Prabhupada no? You see, so this shows the power of sadhu sangha. And that's what this shloka is teaching us, that the association of devotees is very, very critical. From Shastra we also learn that Guru is the mercy incarnation of Lord Krishna. And a sadhu is very tolerant and merciful to all the fallen souls, Patita Pavan. So, he is merciful because he is a well-wisher to all living entities. And that's why I know we have this series, Acharya series, or Srila Prabhupada, the well-wisher, that was done by Yadubar Prabhu. Actually, it is titled well-wisher. Because who is a well-wisher? A well-wisher is one who does not want to see us suffering again and again. I think this is very important, again and again. We have a lot of philanthropic work. We have a lot of people who want to give us some kind of help, but this help is temporary because it is this body is temporary. This body is temporary, so anything that is not done to bring us back to our constitutional position is temporary. So sadhu, through his behavior, Srila Prabhupada says, behaves with the conditioned souls to get them relief from material entanglement. So that is what a sadhu does. That's what book distributors are doing. So in the purport of the 4th canto, Srila Prabhupada, this is 4th canto where Dhruva Maharaj, there is the topic of Dhruva Maharaj, and in that 4th canto, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, it is only in the association of devotees can one understand the importance of the character and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when I read that, it is very clear that it is only in the association of devotees that we can understand the importance of the character and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And I said, wow, you see the importance of Sangha. And in Bhagavad Gita, also we know, 725 is the shloka, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yoga Maya Samavrita Mudo Ayam Nabijanati Lokomam Ajam Avyayam. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them I am covered by my eternal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. So the Lord, as it is already covered by his Yoga Maya potency. But you see, Srila Prabhupada says, but in the association of devotees, we can understand the character and pastimes of the Lord. So this covering is being opened. And that is what we know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Panchatattva did. They came and opened the treasure house of knowledge. Not seeing what is our qualifications. Namo Mahavadanyaya. They just came and opened the treasure house. They didn't see who was fit and who was not fit to get this mercy. So, we are, as we know, we are all Kalau Sudra Sambhava in this age of Kali. In fact, Srila Prabhupada says we are not even first class Sudras, we are 4th and 5th class Sudras. So, this is our qualification. Our qualification is Kalau Sudra Sambhava. So, can we understand these higher matters and understand devotional service? Absolutely no. But because of the mercy of a sadhu like Srila Prabhupada, we have been given this opportunity. And in fact, Srila Prabhupada also did mention that I have given this good fortune to you. Srila Prabhupada did mention this. It was not out of any hankar or any ego, but it is shastrik that the Guru Kripa by Bhakti Lata Bij. Through the Guru, this devotional Kripa is attained. And only through the mercy of Guru can one become qualified to understand devotional service. Further, Srila Prabhupada in his purports has written this, that only through the mercy of Guru can one understand devotional service. And if we see, we also have, that's why I said Guru Kripa by Bhakti Lata Bij. But also Sanatan Goswami recommends the process of initiation and authorized training to become twice born. So to become a Brahmana, Sanatan Goswami, one of our predecessor acharyas, has actually stressed the importance of actually taking initiation and authorized training to become Brahminical. Because it is not by academic qualification that one can be twice born. So, Srila Prabhupada says today's universities are teaching us how to become first class Sudras. Because we don't have this propagation of knowledge being offered. They don't even know about it. So, it is not through academic qualification, but through the mercy. And that's why in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, it says, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya ubdakshanti de jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. That how do we get this knowledge? By rendering service. And by submissively inquiring. So we have to submissively inquire. We have to render service so we can see the process is of rendering service. What is devotional life? Devotional life does not mean sleep, eat, and marry like the material life. It actually is a life of tapasya. There has to be some tapasya in us. We must be able to do some austerity. So in material world, it is by, and even, look at this. We are expecting that if you are born in a Brahminical family, then automatically you are a Brahmin. That's the so-called version. But look in the material world. Do you think by birth we have any qualification in our material careers? Or is it by action? Is it by going and our karma and actually studying? So even in the material world we can see if we have a doctor, it doesn't mean that his child is going to be automatically a doctor unless they actually study. If someone is an attorney, that doesn't mean that his child is automatically going to be an attorney. So if we can see this present in our eyes, in all the facets of works of life that we are seeing, automatically in the spiritual world also, it's the same principle. You just cannot be because you were born. And that's why we see in today's verse that although Narakasur was born of Mother Earth, because of association with Banasur, he actually became envious of the Lord. And actually there is also a pastime. Yesterday Prabhu was explaining about Lord Krishna going with his wife, Sarvabhauma. Actually, Sarvabhauma is regarded as Mother Earth. So the Lord took her because he had actually promised Mother Earth that he will not kill her children. So with Satyabhama being on Garuda, because she was anxious for the Lord out of love and affection, she actually told the Lord, kill Narakasura fast. So you see, look at the pastimes. The Lord has to balance everything. Has to balance so many things because he had actually given Mother Earth that promise. So that's why I said, how can we claim that it is by birth and not by qualification? And this whole ISKCON movement and Srila Prabhupada spread this movement on the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu based on this, because Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Sudra Kene Nae Ye Krishna Tattva Veta Se Guru Hai. That it does not matter whether a person is a Vipra, learned scholar in Vedic wisdom, or is born in a lower family, or is renounced order of life. If he is a master in the science of Krishna, he is perfect and bona fide spiritual master. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi. And that's what we are doing. It is on the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi is, as I said, the principle of ISKCON and how we are preaching. It is based on qualification and not material birth. And that's why the spiritual master gives us the second birth. The first birth is given by our material parents, but the second birth is given by the spiritual master. And that's why we follow the principle of Tare Deko Chare Ko Krishna Upadesh. wherever and whenever we are giving the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Because, very important, by living and associating with devotees, we help each other daily in progressing in devotional service. And this is further elaborated. This is further elaborated in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 22:83, where Krishna, the shloka is Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hai Sadhu Sangha Krishna Prema Janma Teno Puna Mukhya Anga. That the root cause of devotional service to Lord Krishna is association with advanced devotees. Even when one's dormant love for Krishna awakens, association with devotees is still most essential. And then I found out that this is very important also, because if we see in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the most confidential knowledge, text number 30, we have the shloka, Api chet su duracharo bhajadde mam ananya bhak sadur evacha mantavya samyak vyavisto hisa. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. So because we have so many anarthas, including myself, a lot of anarthas from time immemorial, by staying in the association of devotees and practicing this, eventually, Srila Prabhupada says, we will come to the higher platform. But at least we have the surety from Lord Krishna that even if you are practicing this, you are still better than the materialistic, because the Lord says it's considered saintly because of their fixed determination. So, again, the association of devotees is invaluable. The association and Sangha is very invaluable. I can tell you this for my own traveling experiences. When I do travel a lot, I do feel that although I may feel that I'm working outside, I'm taking care of things and orderly business, when you come back to the temple and you associate with the devotees, you just feel very peaceful. You feel that this is your real home. Because you don't get this outside. It's a vacuum outside. It's really a vacuum. I travel, I have so many meetings, I meet so many people. So it's just like you're going through the motions. But then, at the end of the day, you don't have that contentment. But when you're here in New Dwarka and you have so many senior devotees and we are engaged, we are trying to practice in the footsteps of devotional service under Srila Prabhupada. At least we have faults, but then together we consolidate each other. Hare Krishna. I just wanted to end because I know the doors have closed. Any comments? Ananta Kirtan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. 1 second. So this purport is pretty powerful. There you're reading today about how someone can actually be the son of the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself and become a demon due to bad association. And we hear like over and over again in Prabhupada's purports where he calls public education the slaughterhouse of the soul. And he says that because, well, they're not teaching about bhakti, and also everyone that goes there is a non-devotee. And Srila Prabhupada was manifested his pastimes on earth, and he was born in 1896. So he went to public school in India, maybe like in the 1920s or early 1910s or something like that. So comparatively, how degraded was that compared to nowadays? Like even in like the 1950s in America, if you look at like some videos, or like I've heard my grandparents speak, it was like if a woman was wearing something above her knees, that was like super inappropriate. You weren't supposed to show off your body. And like Elvis Presley was like revolutionary because he created like rock and roll music. And many of the parents back then thought he was like the son of Satan for creating this music. But if you listen to his lyrics, compared to lyrics nowadays of like hip hop or whatever, it's nothing. He's like rated G or a PG, like little kid stuff. So, and as the generations go by, like the 1960s, a little bit more degraded, then people started becoming hippies, the 70s. You can see how the generations just become more and more degraded until now we have like the 2010s and 2020s when it's just like wild. If anybody's went to high school in the 2010s or 2020s, they know what I'm talking about, especially in America. I'm talking about, because I don't know how it is in other parts of the world. So I'm just thinking, like, there's so many devotees that send their children to public school, and it's really sad, actually. It's slaughterhouse of the soul. What do you think Prabhupada would think of this if he saw just like they go off with the demons for 6 hours a day, 5 days a week? And I know what they're learning there. They're not learning how to love Krishna. They're learning all the 4 pillars of sin to the maximum. So, can you comment on that?
You know, you know yourself, I think you've answered a lot of it, It is progressively becoming worse and worse. So that's why I know Srila Prabhupada said in a very easy way, this is not a gentleman's world. We should finish our business and go back home as soon as possible. And if you even see what Bhakti Charu Maharaj used to say, at least this one lifetime, give it to Krishna. All these lifetimes you have been rebellious. So it is only through the mercy, and it's only these 10,000 golden years we have. It's only even, is Kali Yuga, it's 432,000 out of 5,000, only out of which 5,000 is over. So we still have 420 something. We have a long way. But then it's only 10,000 out of that, out of which about 500 has gone. But it is becoming progressively worse and worse. You're absolutely right, Prabhu. It's becoming worse and worse. In fact, the other day, I went to a car dealership because one of our devotees wanted to get a car. And while we were there, they were playing this rap music. And I told the broker, the dealer, the car dealer, I said, how do you listen to this whole day? You'll get headaches. He says, I do get headaches, but I have no choice. So this is the pain we are getting to. We are getting you hear those words, they are cursing, you don't even know what they're speaking, like you said with Alvis. At least it's progressively getting worse. So that's why Srila Prabhupada has told us, finish your business and go back home.
I was just wondering about like parents sending their kids there, like devotees. It's kind of crazy. The slaughterhouse. Can you imagine sending your kid to a slaughterhouse? That's insane. That's violence. It's murdering your kid.
Yeah, I agree. Because Prabhupada said that.
I'd like to thank Ananda Kirtan for that very valuable point. And I think in the course of our preaching that all of us, we can be trying to find ways to expand our movement and at least start to work on this problem, because, our children are our future. The children are the ones who are going to carry on the movement along with the new devotees who also need proper training. And if we can give them that, then this is our legacy, handing on the legacy. We have to be able to hand on what Srila Prabhupada gave us. So to hand it on, there has to be some system in place. So each and every one of us, we can be putting our brains to find some little step forward where we can do what Prabhupada wanted to get the proper education for our children and for the new devotees.
I would like to let you know that Los Angeles community is one of the few temples that has a systematic study of Srila Prabhupada's books. So through the Mayapur Institute of Higher Education, I don't know how many of you know this, but about a month ago, after a few months in the works, Mayapur Institute of Higher Education is now coming up with a program that is going to be used all over. The syllabus is going to be used all over the world to enable our Krishna conscious parents or who want to bring their children up to be able to systematically study the Shastras. So there is 3 age groups, starting with 8 years, because below 8 years is too young for them to understand. So we have 3 class levels up to university level. and they are doing systematical study of Srila Prabhupada's books from one age group to another, and that syllabus has already been done. And Los Angeles Temple is one of the few temples to be in this program. So it has already been done. It's already been done. It's online. We have about 50 to 100 students, including my daughter is one of the students. And they're doing a systematic study of Srila Prabhupada's books. Hare Krishna. Just because of time, sorry, I have to catch a ferry today to head for another business trip. Hare Bol. All goes to